You see that right there? That little thing. That's one of the cheapest ways to water your lawn. I'll tell you what I mean coming up. Spoiler alert, if you hadn't figured it out already, the way to water your lawn for free is when it rains, but you gotta know how much you got. One of my favorite parts about it raining is going to check the water gauge when it stops. And we've had a pretty wet first half of the day today. Things are starting to dry up, the sun's starting to come out, so the first thing I do is I go check my water gauge. So, let's go do that and see what we've got. Just ignore this backyard for now. That's all part of the process and for another video, but for now we go check out the rain gauge, and pretty lackluster results in there. Let's see, not even a half an inch. That's pretty pathetic. And that's why I say this little guy right here is one of the cheapest ways to water your lawn. You can pick one of these up at Walmart for like $3 or $4. Mount it somewhere outside in your yard and you'll always know how much rain you got. And as most of you already probably know, most turf types need somewhere around 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water per week. And this little guy just helps you keep up with that. So if you're going to be a nerd about your lawn, you need to be a nerd about rain and a nerd about checking the forecast. Little known fact about me, I used to be a weatherman for a TV station in Florida, so I'm already a weather nerd. That goes really well with being a lawn nerd. If there's anyone in my neighborhood that knows the forecast, it's me. I always joke around with my wife. If I lived in this neighborhood and I didn't see me, the guy that lives at my house, watering, I wouldn't water. If I saw my sprinklers running, I'd throw mine out as well. So, download an app, add a website to your homepage of your phone, so you can always keep up with the forecast. I use the National Weather Service's weather.gov. I've copied the link to my homepage on my phone, and I'm always checking it. And check out this forecast for the next several days here in Arkansas. It looks like we're going to have an abundance of rain. So even though we didn't get that much this morning, I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to water. That would just be a waste of money and a waste of time. I'm just going to see what happens. Three, two. I'm just going to see what happens over the next few days, and this guy right here is going to tell me if my yard is getting what it needs for this week. And if it doesn't, then I'll start supplementing with the hoses and sprinklers. But until this forecast clears up, I'm going to rely on it, and that's going to save me a little bit of money. I mean, I always hate taking walks around the neighborhood the night before we've got a big chance of rain, and there's sprinklers running everywhere. It's like, did they even look at the forecast? They're wasting their time, they're wasting water, and they're wasting money. You know, the forecast like we've got coming up over the next several days, I tell you what, I'm not wasting any of those resources. So a little education on what your forecast is telling you and how I look at it and decide when I'm going to water and when I'm not. When you see a percentage chance of rain in your forecast, you can't take it at face value. What a 20% chance or a 30% chance or 40% chance of rain in the forecast means is when it says 20% of that viewing area, of that forecasted area, might see rain, or 30 or 40, whatever the percentage chance is. Just because it says 50% and you didn't get rain doesn't mean that the forecast wasn't correct, because the other 50% of that forecast area might have seen rain. Anytime I see about a 20 or 30% chance of rain in the forecast, I'm not going to rely too heavily on it. I'm going to go ahead and irrigate with my sprinklers. Anytime I get over that 30 into the 40 to 50% chance of rain, then I'm going to take the gambles and hope that I do get that rain. Now, the higher it gets above that, 60 and above, I am going to bet on that rain and certainly not going to irrigate on my own at that point. But I'm constantly looking at the forecast well into the future. That way I can start to plan ahead. And I really like weather.gov from the National Weather Service because it gives you so much information from forecast discussions, really good radars, hourly by hourly forecast, and so many other details. And I know there are a lot of options out there, but for me, that's just what works. Use whatever works for you. Certainly you can't water your lawn for free every time. There are going to be those times where you're going to have to put out sprinklers and it's going to cost you a little money on your water bill. But if you're like me, you're going to do all you can to take advantage of that free rain. So keep up with the forecasts. That's all you got to do. That's all I've got for you this time on Budget Lawns. We'll see you the next time around. You know what else is awesome about this little thing right here? For $3 or $4, I added one humongous value of entertainment to my family because my 2-year-old little girl loves checking this thing. It's kind of like our little daddy-daughter date when it rains.